Hello and welcome to the Late Wildlife Show. I'm Brandon, your host, and today I'm talking to Laquan Johnson, a former wildlife media student here at the University of Cumbria. Laquan, absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me on.
So then I'll be talking to Laquan in just a little bit all about his experience studying wildlife media and also his amazing trip to Kenya. But before we find out a little bit about that, here's some footage from earlier on this week where we sent out a current student, Oscar, for a little day out in the Lake District. Have a look at this.
Hi guys, today I'm in the Lake District in Martindale near Ullswater. I'm going to be climbing up there. Let's go! Hallam Vale is in the Lake District of Cumbria and is one of the many Wainwright peaks in England's Lake District. From the summit, we have amazing views across Ullswater, Helvellyn and Blencathra. Have a lovely day today. Back to you guys in the studio.
There we are. Thank you, Oscar, for going out on such a windy day to film that for us. Now then, Laquan Johnson, tell us, what inspired you to start doing wildlife media?
Well, that's a good story. My mentor, her name's Rosie, she kind of told me, because I was struggling to find a course, she was like, whatever course makes your heart beat, go for it.
Yeah.
I found wildlife media at the University of Cumbria, my heart beated, so I was like, yep, that's the one. But just to kind of like spice it up a little bit, this is the only uni that offers this degree, so it's kind of compulsory, I had to come, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah, and that's it. So what did you enjoy most about the course? There's loads of fascinating things you were doing, but if you could pick one memorable thing about the course, what would it be?
One memorable thing about the course, that's a good question. It's too hard to choose from. Like, I loved the social aspect, I loved the being out on the field, seeing wildlife and all this kind of stuff, but me personally, like I said, the social side of things, like meeting other people, different courses, interacting with different courses and kind of seeing how you can work together on different things was such a big part about it, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, that's it. So are you actually working with any wildlife at the moment? Any plans for the future?
No, I'm not working with any wildlife at the moment, which is a shame. Obviously, because I'm the academic officer at the university, that's kind of taken up a lot of my time. So I've got to really focus more on the student side of stuff, you know what I mean? But the plan is in the future, just like yourself, become a presenter and get to that point where I'm going to be doing documentary filming, so that's like the end goal, and that's something that I'll probably end up doing years later. Yeah. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's great. So obviously you've done the whole degree, the whole wildlife degree. What advice would you give to people starting out in a wildlife course?
That's a good question. I got so much that I could give advice on. I think the one thing that helped me over the past 3 years was a few things that my dad actually said to me. He said, son, no matter what situation you're in, always be yourself and never give up. So
good advice.
Those key words just got me through the past 3 years, and it's helped me and it's got me here. So that's my advice to everyone else.
Yeah, well, great advice. We're going to be talking to you a little bit later on, and we're also going to show a bit of your work too. But now though, let's find out a little bit about where wildlife students like to get closer to nature. Take a look at this.
Wildlife media students at the University of Cumbria are always looking for great places to spot wildlife, and one of their favourites is Escrigg Nature Reserve in Lockerbie. The reserve is home to an abundance of wildlife, and its pine forests are the perfect habitat for red squirrels to thrive in. However, red squirrels aren't the only species that call the reserve home. Birds such as swans, pheasants, tawny owls and woodpeckers all pay visits to the ponds and forest feeders, and students often come here to seek out other animals too. With such a range of amazing wildlife, it's no wonder the wildlife media students love it.
That really does look like a great place for a day out. Now then, moving on from our local wildlife to some a bit further afield, Laquan recently travelled to Kenya and has some amazing photos to show us now. Laquan, what made you go to Kenya?
Oh, well, the first time I went was back in 2013. The reason why I went, it wasn't really my choice. It was sort of a thing where somebody said, like, it'll be a good experience for you, it'll be life-changing. But the problem was, back then I was totally different, but I just wanted to go to have fun, so I didn't really get into the culture much. So I ended up going again in 2017, but this time really talking to the locals and understanding their culture, because I thought it'd be an important thing, and it's changed my life completely. I mean, I did so much there, and I'm glad I did
Yeah.
it.
If you could just name a few activities that you did while you were over there, so you did a lot of photography and stuff, like what kind of activities did you do
Yeah.
with all of that?
So one of the things that we did the first day we got there was a tour around the village, to the local village. So it was amazing to see it. Like, what they have around them is just what they've got. I mean, these people built mud houses from the ground up, and they just picked a land and that was theirs. So it was quite cool to see that. I went on a 3-day safari, so there's a few photos that have been shown of that, which was a great experience. I went on a snorkeling trip, went to a restaurant, a really posh one as they would say, which was a nice sort of change. I was out in the city and all this, and it was crazy, but that was the sort of stuff I did.
I bet it was a really eye-opening experience too, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It was
Yeah.
eye-opening for me.
So, can you tell us a little bit about some of the photographs that you took while you were over there?
So I took loads of photographs of everything. I mean, I went back because I wanted to document the experience. I wanted to show everyone everything. So not only did I take photos, but I also took footage. Quite in particular, I took a lot of photos of the wildlife there, obviously, considering I'm a wildlife media student. So one of them that I took photo was an elephant, and this was shot in one of the locations in the safari where we got really close. There was like a little mini watering hole, and there was loads of them, but I managed to take a photo of that, and I also made a story, which is why that photo is so special to me.
Yeah.
Also, I saw a lion,
Yeah.
which was amazing.
Fantastic.
And seeing the behaviour of the animals there was life-changing. It's
Yeah.
glad I did
That's
it.
wonderful. I could talk about it all day. I really could, but unfortunately, we do have to end the show this week. Thank you very much for coming on, Laquan. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing us some of your photos too. Make sure you tune in next week, where we'll be speaking to James Hughes, who'll be talking about his trip to Scotland to see some beavers, and also Usher investigates the problem with foxes in UK cities. You don't want to miss that one. But that's all from us for now. Good night.